Hi, I'm Chef Leo.
Hi, I'm Chef Theo, and this is The Confessions of a Private Chef. Season 1, Episode 7, Launching a Dream. How you doing, Chef?
Great. How are y'all?
Good. We got a special guest today.
We do. She is a pretty cool person. Met her years back. I was going to say something else. It was going to be nice. Well, I mean, I call my buddy Brandon the last episode. He's a badass. This woman's a badass as well in her own way. Totally different people, what they do. But my God, I mean, I don't know if God made her a woman by accident.
Totally.
Because I mean, this girl I've seen her, some of her posts on Instagram. She's underneath her vehicle doing mechanic work, and she's like, whatever it takes, construction, painting. I mean, I don't know. I mean, she's a badass. I mean, there's no other word to, describe her. Anyways, Christina. Yeah.
Launching a dream. So, Christina, you launched a dream recently here in Fredericksburg, Texas.
I did. Yep. Seems like yesterday, but yet so far ago.
So how did the dream start?
Oh, man. I'd like to call it a midlife crisis, kind of.
You're going to give away your age.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But I would say that was 2021, I guess. And I was in real estate. Still do that a little bit on the side. And needed a creative outlet, I guess. And have zero culinary experience, which is interesting coming from you guys. That's kind of your forte. But, was looking at this across from Whataburger here in town. There was this old stone looking facade building. Mm-hmm. And I would be sitting in the Whataburger line quite a bit and would look across at it and think, God, that's such a cool building. Like, what could be there? What actually would do there? And I'm thinking snow cones, and is there snow cone stand around here? And then it kind of evolved into this idea of, maybe especially like what we were talking about earlier, like the shift into more health conscious people looking at kind of their ingredients and what's in their food, and then knowing the hill country where we've got orchards all up and down this road with different kind of fruits and peaches, strawberries, blackberries, and how can we incorporate the fresh fruit, local ingredients, and then kind of my love for Italy. And me in my little mind was thinking it kind of evolved into like a granita style Italian ice where it's like a healthy snow cone. Obviously I didn't get that building. So
no one did.
It's gone now.
I used to see it all the time too. I drive by and same idea. I would always think about what could I do?
Because it was so tiny too.
And it was funny because just in the limestone facade, like you said, and it was like a tin can, the back. But I remember that as a kid also being a gas station and stopping there a few times and before they removed the pumps. So it's like, it's been there for ages. And
it's not far from where we are now, where we're sitting.
Right. Literally like 3 blocks down.
Yeah. I mean, I passed the Whataburger coming over here. So yeah.
Yeah.
It, that's what started it in a healthy snow cone in the line of a Whataburger, which is a little ironic, but, so then I just decided that probably the best course of action was going to be, well, let's just start it in a food truck. And, that led to, well, let's just find the most interesting truck possible that no one's seen before, and came across the Citroën HY, which is a vehicle they started making in World War II in France. And they used, basically you're thinking of war-torn countryside, right? So it's, material that all they had access to. So corrugated tin, an open back. They would haul bread, milk, cheese, animals, livestock. So the back was already open that way.
Bodies, I believe, too, man. Ambulance,
all the things. And a lot of French people call them salad baskets because police will use them too, and they'll just throw a bunch of people in the back. But they started making them in World War II and found one on Instagram. And I started messaging people because they were so rare. Like, where did you get this? What is this? What is this thing? And happened to find one in Kansas City that they were selling. It was a coffee truck. And it went from there. After a bottle of wine, I bought it, sight unseen. I had no idea.
Great things happen after a bottle of wine or anything.
You never know. Instagram can be dangerous, but yeah, didn't even know if I could reach the pedals, but luckily European people are pretty small, and it got here, and then went from there. So, and then ordered a machine and just kind of YouTubed, trying to figure out how to make this granita style Italian ice.
YouTube is amazing, man.
Dude,
you
learn everything.
Everything. We talked about, I guess, my first episode. I built this entire studio looking at YouTube videos and learning how to do it. But granitas, I mean, I learned granita from culinary school. I would have to make it so I could learn the technique. Of course, you can't make granita normally without adding booze, you are, but
hey, in Italy they don't.
I know, but
I know it's so much better.
It's so much better with booze. But when I found out she was doing that, it's like, is that going to be granita or is it going to be a snow cone? I was intrigued. The first time I tried it was mind blowing.
I don't remember the first time. It's been a while since.
Since what? I tried it?
Yeah. Was it out at Das Peach House?
It was, yes. It was Das Peach House. And then it was Lickenbach after that. But yeah, I kept on coming back for more. I was afraid to ask for more, but at the same time, every time I'd get close, hey, you want another one? So I said, yeah.
It was fun. And especially too, like finding what was in season. I had a grower reach out, and they had a 90-year-old pear tree, and they had a whole bunch of extra pears, and going, oh, okay, shit, I guess I'll figure out what to do with pears, and it was it's trial and error.
How do I juice it?
Exactly. And kind of making up the recipes as I went, but found a place to do a little commercial kitchen and started making it, and threw it in tubs, and then hauled that truck around, all over town. I look back, I'm thinking, God, I was crazy.
That's awesome.
That's
what it takes to be successful. You gotta work your own ass off. You can't rely on anyone to do it for you.
For real.
Well, and that's what you were saying earlier, like about, and thank you, about being a badass. But I wouldn't quite say that. I would credit YouTube and Google for it. But I think it's definitely, there's a little bit of crazy in all of us to be an entrepreneur, and you have to like really kind of have that. I'm gonna roll up my sleeves and.
No, you have to be gifted in a way, because anyone and everyone watches YouTube, but they can't reproduce things the same way. It's like nailed it. You said nailed it earlier, and I think people that cook or bake cakes, and you see them, it's a piece of shit. Outcome that they come with, and you're like nailed it. That's the thing. Not everyone can do what you do, or what we do, or what people in their profession do. That's why there's very few of us that do it, especially in this town. Like to have a woman-owned business. The majority of these businesses are women-owned, and it takes a lot of knowledge, willpower, and dedication to make these businesses successful. Because anyone can open up a business. It's how do you make it function, and how do you make it successful. So by calling you a badass, from the marketing, your branding, your the work that you pull, your recipe development, it's not easy. It's not, and I know, and I've failed a lot of stuff too. But failure sometimes makes you better at other things. So I take what I get, but so far so good for you. Your batting score is pretty high.
We're getting there. It's so I did the truck for a couple of years, and man, speaking of Lickenbach, it was days I'd work out there and I'd sell out, and knowing then that night I'm having to make more because it was just me, and thinking, oh, that's so exciting that we sold out, but then going, oh gosh, it's an all-nighter, kind of thing, and then here we go again the next day. But I think it was necessary for me to put in that time, and it was my labor, my time, learning what worked, what didn't, and I'm still learning that. We learn that every day. I think that's one of the biggest things about owning your own business is being able to pivot and adjust in the things that I thought would work or that people would like very quickly reveal themselves, I feel like. And you just have to kind of be flexible and hang on for that ride.
Definitely. So entrepreneurship and working for yourself, you wouldn't have it any other way,
no,
seems like.
Never. I think as a creative, with the creative side, you just can't. You have your vision. I think the hardest thing for me was we were in the truck for 2 years and then got an opportunity to open an actual brick and mortar on Main Street. And it was definitely one of those things where I just said yes. And then it was kind of an oh shit moment later. And you just kind of figure it out. But I think the hardest thing for me was having people work for me and not knowing how to train them and what to do, because I didn't even know that yet. I didn't know what a storefront would look like or what it would look like to have such foot traffic and stuff. So it's kind of been a learning curve for all of us. And I think it's been interesting because most of the kids that work for me are high school, college age. And it's been, in this day with social media, we were talking about that earlier. Everything looks so perfect on social media, right? Like
right.
The filters, the best pictures and all the things. And that's not life,
no.
And I think I hope it's been a little rewarding for them to see the behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And even as adults, like, we don't have it all figured out.
No.
Still to this day. Like, here's the chaos. It's
life.
It's life. And that's going to be, that's part of owning a business. That's part of life. It's
right.
part of really every aspect.
And, every person, every business has a personality and, a persona that they have to create so they can, appear to the public in a certain way. So, you did it from the get-go with the truck, and then you opened up the store and it was the same thing. And it's being consistent that really helps pay off at the end, because like you said, yeah, no one's perfect. I'm sure you flipped also, employees and stuff, probably rotated a handful by now. And you have to keep that same level of, professionalism and quality in the products that you do. So yeah, you have to look a certain way,
mm-hmm.
on social media. Mm-hmm. And social media sells. I know the majority of my business comes through social media,
and it's free.
It's totally free.
It's something that I think some people don't take enough advantage of.
Totally.
But you're right. It's something I think for me, before we opened the store, I had to sit down and truly do some soul searching of what is that image? What are the important, really root concepts of this brand? What do I want people to feel when they come in? And because going from a food truck, this, I've seen you hauling your trailer. We've run into each other all the time in town, like all hours pictures of the night, and like see your trailer. But going from something that's so small and controllable to a brand that's then recognized on a larger scale, how do you still keep that same vibe? And what is that vibe kind of thing? And what's important? That's
a hard thing to do, but once you nail it, then it, like you said, nail it. And then it's with you forever unless something dramatic changes and you want to flip the whole business model and look around. But for the most part, I feel like you've established who you are and how do you want to be seen. Mm-hmm. So, as long as you keep doing what you're doing, I see it getting better and growing.
Well, thank you. And I think the other thing on that too is when you're growing, I think a lot of people will try to expand into a niche that's maybe not theirs or what's their. I worked with I was a marketing major, but worked with this incredible branding gal out of North Carolina, and really answering those questions of who are you, what do you stand for, and really reviewing that over time. So as you're kind of making decisions on what to do with your business, or I'm going to maybe add this to the menu, or maybe we'll expand into this. And I think a lot of people lose their identity when you're
growing too fast,
right. Or just trying to do too much.
Right.
And then you really kind of get lost in that. And I think that's been important for me is as we look at, it's seasonal, right? So we're looking into what we do in the wintertime, but does that really fit my brand identity and who we are? And it's just an ever-changing target, right? And I think Fredericksburg is very unique in our visitors and tourism and who's coming here, what are they looking for? And
you have to cater to all the demographics yourself, right? So you can do these, more luxurious style parties, or you can use the backyard,
get together,
10-year-old birthday party, or
barbecue,
or just relax. Yeah, totally. So, but you're nailing it, girl.
So it sounds like you went all in.
Yes.
So you made the decision, you went all in, right? And then you have these phases, right? So I would say the first phase is the dream phase, right? So you had the dream, you're sitting in Whataburger parking lot, and you're like, oh, I have this dream to make this business. And then you have this honeymoon phase too, where you go all in, and you're like, it's just like bliss, like all these things are falling into line. You're finding this really cool truck, and and you're getting your business going, and then you have the reality. So tell me a little bit about the reality.
Oh, man. Reality hits hard, and I still feel that. Sure, the truck looks great. There are days when it won't start. It's the first one was a 1967, and I don't know much about cars. So it was YouTube, right? Can we get a sponsorship from YouTube on this episode?
We post on YouTube now.
Hell yeah.
But the late nights and there are many nights where I'm going, what the hell am I thinking? What am I doing?
What did I get myself into?
What did I get myself? Exactly.
Yeah.
What did I get myself into?
And you don't want to hire anyone. You want to do it yourself. So you can know what you did or what they do.
Well, and I think too, like a lot of new businesses don't have the capital for that yet.
That too, right?
And it's like, I don't know if this is going to work or be popular. And at that point, it's just you're working. I'm still not paid, basically.
I know.
We all understand that. And I think there's a glamorous side to it where everybody's thinking, oh, you're killing it. And and it's great. It's true. I think there's definitely a lot of positive response, but then we had a meeting with the city and a lot of mainstream merchants last week. And it was so nice to sit around with other Main Street business owners and hear the same struggles and the same things that, okay, I'm not alone.
It's not just you.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not feeling these same things, because there are definitely nights that I sit up at that store going, I love this. And I mean, you have to make it through all those phases, the non-honeymoon phase. Right. And I would say that hit pretty hard. And I think too, a lot of it's like self-reflection of, I don't know what I'm doing in this aspect, or being able to learn or try to work on things I've learned more about myself in the past 3 years than I ever did. Or I went to business school, learned a lot more about business in the last 3 years than I ever did in school. That's for sure.
I mean, most of it's been hands-on.
Hands-on, absolutely.
So that's really the best way to learn. I mean, if you're fucking something up really quick. So you're not getting graded, man. It's like you either get paid or you don't get paid. And I know this year's been a little slower than the years before. I don't know if you've noticed it. But a lot of the businesses on Main Street are complaining. It's like, man, it's just slower, and I don't know why. But you have to, adapt and do whatever you need to do. But it's funny because I haven't done a lot of marketing on social media the way I normally should. I follow you, and you do quite a bit, especially on stories.
Well, thanks. I mean, I just was thinking today, I haven't posted in 5 days, and I know that there are algorithms and schedules that people should follow. Right. And I don't know, I think mine's a little more organic, where if I've got something to say, I'm going to say it.
Right. But the reality of it is that we don't have time. And that's the biggest issue in what we do in the service industry, that we get so caught up with business, or, we have to shop, we have to do this, that the time just slips away. And I mean, I could totally get that, especially I see it at HEB too. I'm getting there, you're leaving.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that's about when we see each other now. Like it's just a wave and glassy eyed and, hey, keep up the good work. But I think as an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to take all the titles. Some days I'm a plumber. Some days I'm on the cover of a magazine. It's just, but you do it all. You have to.
Sound like Jeff Mazurico here.
I think that being an entrepreneur also exposes you to yourself in a way that, like you said, like you learn so much about yourself and like the limits that you can go, that you can actually push yourself to. And I think that's one of the most important things about, it sounds like what you're doing is really pushing you. And it's, you've created a great brand here, and it's really kind of a very bright spot on Main, I mean, you definitely can't pass your shop and not know,
That was fun, trying to do something different for historic Main Street,
I'm surprised you pulled it off as well as you did, being, it was a garage.
That was the cool thing. It could not have been a more perfect spot, though. Yeah. It was a garage, old service station in the 50s, because back in the day, Fredericksburg had one on every corner.
Yeah.
And so it's so cool. We got the original bay doors. We pulled up the vinyl flooring, and now it's the original concrete, but kind of wanted a dark and moody space. And
I can imagine what Milton Cranwalgie said when he walked in.
You know what? He actually loved it.
Yeah.
At first, it was not quite seeing the whole vision, but they seem really pleased with it now.
Yeah, I love that man.
Yeah,
stories.
Great family, but
have him
it was really fun to kind of embrace that with the old truck. So since the first truck, I have a now 1959 as well. So, apparently I just love old shit.
Yeah, you do. I mean, what really captivates me when I drive by there is the seating you have outside and how you actually were allowed to put that fence in area. How did you pull that off with the city?
Well, I didn't ask. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, the whole corner is part of that property, and it was great for kids to be able to have room to play and people to bring their family friendly. And that was another thing that was always important to me is Fredericksburg. I love the wineries, love the bars here. And I wanted something though where people could come after school or after dance class or, I knew I had finally made it when I found out that I was like child punishment. So it was like they did something bad and they couldn't have piccolina, and it was like, okay, we're finally there. But it just seemed like a very unused space that now we don't have enough really on certain weekends and stuff.
Yeah, you use every inch of that. I mean, even underneath the carport, there used to be a whole bunch of plants and stuff there. I remember, and then you turned it into a nice little seating area. I did an event out there. It was really cool, man. It was like, I could do this every weekend if I had to.
Where did you at the store?
We did the baby shower or bridal shower.
Oh yeah, the one I had. Yeah, that was so much fun.
I forgot to ask you for my boards. I was going to get you to bring my boards.
I thought about it. I thought about it, and then it was gone. Yeah, that's kind of how mine works. It's a constant, but yeah.
We forgot about the event too. I mean, that's how our minds think. Short-term memory.
Yes. But so I have ADHD, and
I do too. He does too.
I'm telling you, like there's a niche for us. It's at first I always was thinking, what is wrong with me? What's wrong with me? But then once you kind of learn to really tap into those, I think extra talent, and turn off the rest, it allows us to be so adaptive.
You're able to turn off the rest.
Well, depends on the day, but I think that you have to be that way, like a very just jumping different ways. The hardest thing for me is just being pulled in 8,000 directions at once. Phone, and everybody knows I'm the worst. Email, phone, good luck. But
until you need something.
Right. Yes,
until
exactly.
You need something. I remember the phone call that I got, or the message I got. Hey, I'm thinking about opening.
Did I tell you what the store?
Yeah. You
Creative.
Too, yeah.
I see. Yeah. I can't tell you what I had for breakfast yesterday or this morning.
Yeah. I think even the first truck or the second truck, it's like, well, because I think the first concept on the second truck was making it just a bar. So it was like, it would have worked still.
It would have. And I think we'll still do that. And that's been, so the alcohol kind of came into play where I was using this Italian ice at home for my personal, because it was a food truck originally, and you can't serve alcohol out of there unless you're at a private venue. But I would be scooping something and go, this would be good with champagne. This would be good with Prosecco, or we did Dietz Distillery, and we've done Garrison Brothers with pairing it with bourbon. Yeah. And all of a sudden I'm like, I need to share this with the people. And that's where the Piccolina came from. And so we do a scoop of Italian ice with
I'm waiting for you to do like a limoncello or
trust me.
Was a lime with tequila.
I'm already, I don't have a liquor license.
I know.
But I've been on
you can give it away.
I know. But I have a batch brewing at my house right now. I'm trying to get Dietz to do, because we make a homemade lemonade. So back to kind of like what still falls within your brand, but yet could work really well and I understand it. Like on Main Street, you've got the Main Street rent is it's brutal. And sometimes you walk in those stores, which I understand, you're trying to throw as much crap in there as you can to try to turn a profit, but you lose that identity. So it was it's been like this exercise for me at, usually 2 or 3 in the morning of what else can we do that still falls within this realm of what we stand for and what our brand is. So homemade lemonade was kind of our next step when we went to the store, and we'll do like a regular classic, and we've got a strawberry lemonade. It's all fresh pureed strawberries. Right now we're doing a blueberry lavender lemonade, and we can't make enough. So I have a ton of lemon rinds, and I'm thinking those rinds could be really good for limoncello.
Totally. So badass.
We preserve lemons at the cafe. We do preserved lemons. They're really good.
Do you need some? Because I got plenty. Plenty.
Maybe.
And I think that's it, like that's another fun thing about, like, I've met so many people in this new business of mine than I ever did in Fredericksburg, because it exposes you to a whole different market, a lot of the like-minded people and partnerships. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but Leo, but I think that Fredericksburg was more of an insular community back in the day. Oh, yeah. And so it was kind of like everybody for themselves, and not in a selfish way, but that's just that was that mindset.
Well, I mean, living in this town as a Mexican and dealing with the German community back in the day, man, it was a little tough. I mean, bet. The older guys, there are a handful of guys like we talked about, Milton, Grinwalgi. So, I mean, everyone was to themselves. Their businesses also closed off. They wanted the money from people driving by, but to the outside, it was like, it
was the holdout.
It was, Auslanders. It was crazy. And it wasn't until more people started coming in, that everyone started opening up, or some of the older ones died off, that their kids were a little bit more open-minded. So, I mean, it's changed. Like, it's done a 180 in the past 25 years, 30 years probably. So, and of course, all the booze and wine that we have now also helps, open some of these people's mind, get a little bit in, and you're like, hey, totally different person.
For sure.
But yeah, doing the food or any service industry in this town, your connections, grow dramatically. I mean, because I can understand the real estate part. You're dealing with just a couple people trying to pitch something, sell it, and then it's the next person, so it's not, you're not exposed. Sorry. It's okay. You're not exposed to the amount of people you are every day when you're in the service industry.
Right.
And so,
but I think like the collaboration now is getting more and more. And for me, especially starting out, that was such a benefit, because you're not only getting the wisdom and knowledge and experience from other people, but you're kind of piggybacking off of their followers and their brand. And
cross marketing is just blows up then.
Exactly. And that was kind of like out of the truck. You did some shoots for me at Salvation Spirits, and kind of getting the brand on the. Did you forget that?
No.
You're looking over there like.
No. It was funny because I was just messaging Trey last night, a new picture for the Rock and Vine, and I was thinking about that because I was looking at all the images, and there's your hand. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A pretty nice little small hand.
Tiny.
But yeah, it's kind of great because then you get your brand out there with somebody else's crowd, and so collaboration for me has been huge, really, and a lot of fun because you're getting to meet and spend time with people that you normally never would have.
Yeah, you built relationships for life, that's for sure. Or you piss somebody off and you never have to deal with them again.
For sure.
But for the most part, it works out pretty good, in our behalf.
I was seeing this interview with Rick Rubin, and he was talking about summoning the muse. So you think collaboration is a good way to summon that muse for you? Absolutely.
I think that a lot of, well, since we're all ADHDers here, like, there's no telling where it comes from, right? Sometimes it's a bizarre thing, but I think spending time with like-minded people really kind of gets the gears turning, gets the, being open to suggestions too, and I think when you're kind of with a well-respected circle of friends, family, or whatnot, it can really bring out some interesting suggestions. And, that was going back to being an entrepreneur. For me, I'm an only child, kind of always been a lone wolf. And so having to learn to listen to others, and not in a stubborn kind of way, but just being open to the feedback or communicating. It's all in my head. It's a scary place to be. But like when you're you think of all the things, what you're wanting to translate, but how do you communicate that to your staff? Communicate that outwardly to people that have no idea what you stand for. I think that muse can come from all kinds of different aspects, but especially collaboration.
What about you, brother? I mean, where does your muse come from? Like,
dude, I have to get like 3 hours of like just complete woods time. I have to go out in the woods and just disappear, fall off the face of the earth for,
And you're constantly thinking about what am I going to do? Am I doing shit right?
Yeah. I pray a lot. I mean, I am a Christ-centered, that's kind of who I am personally. And I get a lot of inspiration from reading the Bible, going out into the woods, and there's an element too that like I find that whenever I have the chance to have some fun, like just get out there and just have some fun, go to the beach, do a little bit of travel, get on the open road, go eat at a new spot somewhere. There's a lot of inspiration that comes from those things for me personally. Yeah.
I think not even only just that, but it's necessary.
For sure.
And that's a hard thing too as a business owner. You've got to take the time for yourself. I mean, you have to recharge. People know, like, sometimes they can't reach me for a few days, and that's I'm recharging, and
for sure.
You're just no good to anybody when you're completely burned out. And recognizing that point and being able to take that quiet time for it, because I think that's where your best ideas and creativity comes from. And you have to always be evolving and coming up with things like that, because very quickly you can fade into the, norm.
For sure. I mean, I feel like when you're an entrepreneur and you're running your own business, you kind of, you do all these other things for other people, and you're always at the, you're always on call for whatever your customers need, your employees need. Then you have what your family needs from you. And so, the time to recharge is something wasn't a practice that I had for a very long time. And I paid the price for it. Eventually I just burned out. And, so that's why now, like, every week I have my ritual of, my day off, my weekend starts on Monday. So Monday for me is like a complete turn off day. Like, I don't even look at a phone, turn on my computer. I will a little bit just to kind of, just a real quick little touch in the morning. But then I try to just go device free for the whole day. And then I just go out and hike for as long as I can take it. And then,
well, that explains a lot, man, because I mean,
we can't reach
I
him.
can never get a hold of this fucker.
Mondays. Just don't even try.
Oh man. I am a total opposite. I mean, I can't stop. If I stop, I feel like I'm wasting my life away. Like, I stop whenever my body tells me that I need to sleep. And I literally can be in the middle of the day and I'll go lay down. But like my muse comes from working. Like, I'll do construction on the yard. I mean, you walk through the backyard.
it's
like
awesome.
you're constantly,
yeah.
Yesterday I did the yard. It's like, oh shit, what's next? I got to build something over here. And I got to start on this restroom. It's like, we're cutting the grass, putting my headphones. And it's like, if I stop, I'm afraid that I'm going to lose out on something in life, like an opportunity or just something getting done. Like when I get older, I guess, I will have time to rest. But right now, while I can still move, my knees and the legs still work, I want to capitalize.
Sleep when
on
you're
that.
dead.
No. But yeah, I mean, I'll travel.
Chef, you're a very high functioning creative. You're a very high functioning creative, and I watch everything that you do, and I'm like, dude, this guy he's dynamite. He's dynamite. I love your personality and your passion for life. I think that's one of the things that I've learned for the past couple of weeks, spending so much time with you here on Tuesdays. Is I think that's why, and you can transfer that into what you're doing over there, Piccolina, Christina. Is you have a passion for what you're doing, and it seems like you're also a very high functioning creative, which is really cool.
I think it takes that personality a little bit to be crazy enough to do what we do, but I'm actually an introvert. Most people wouldn't believe that. And so I've learned it's very necessary for me to
step out of that box,
step out of that and turn it off. And, like the
persona, it's your persona. When
exactly. And, being able to, I never eat out because it's not my quality time, because then it's people talking. And like when the Rock and Vine cover came out, it was like an amazing honor. It was so much fun and loved great publicity. But I basically like hid under the covers for a week because it was like, oh God, way too much exposure.
Yeah. I mean, one in a lifetime person.
I always heard never to take, like, so if you have like a big launch or a big event or something that you do, like the day after, I heard from a mentor one time that the day after, like, you should just not take anything too personal either. Mm-hmm. Where it's like you hit under the covers, it's like you need that time to just kind of reset after a big launch like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So you say mentor, like, do you use mentors business wise, life?
Mainly in life. Business. In fact, Leo doesn't even know this. He's kind of become my pseudo business mentor now.
Oh God. But we'll hope you succeed. If not, I'm going to look like a failure.
No.
Speaking of failures, I think they're great. I think
you have to have failure.
totally.
You've got to.
Yeah.
But the hard thing is learning from them, recognizing what it was, but not being afraid to fail.
Mentorship is something that, I think everybody really needs, to be honest, especially for high functioning creatives or for people who are in entrepreneurial roles. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people try to do it alone, and that can be a very lonely road. I think I always think about the Lord of the Rings, and you have Samwise and you have Frodo, and they're storming to the mount, to take on Sauron and throw the ring in the lava or whatever. But
like a total nerd, man.
I'm here for this.
Yeah,
this is my jam.
But you have to have that. You have this great responsibility that you've been placed with, and you can't take everybody with you either. That's another thing. You just need to find the right people. Yeah, the right people, man. The right people.
Find your hobbits.
The right guide. That'll stick by you.
And then you can actually take the ring off too. And we're going to stay on this Lord of the Rings for a
That's
second.
fine.
But just like let somebody else carry the ring for a minute.
Yeah.
But it's really, like you said, it's finding that circle, finding that, because I think everybody does, once you're kind of a recognized brand or business, they not want a piece of it, but feel like they know you and have the opinions and suggestions and ideas, which they're great. I mean, I've had some of the best suggestions just come off somebody on the street, but for the most part, it's just finding your circle of trust and really surrounding yourself with that.
Yeah, because once you gain success too, you start to see that everybody has like you said, like their opinion, or like they have like their own like agenda, and not to shame anybody for that, but everybody's trying to also figure out. I think that probably 85% of people, you could ask them and they still don't know what they want to be when they grow up.
I love that you say that though, because I mean, just like I've got a bunch of kids that and when I say kids, I have no children of my own, but I refer to like all my 15 employees as my kids, and like graduating high school, being in college, and one thing I've always told them is it's okay to not know that. I'm still figuring that out. I just now got into this, in my mid 30s, late 30s. But having an agenda or like trying to follow what everybody else thinks you should do isn't necessarily the right path for you, and that's okay.
And that's okay. I mean, yeah, even the most successful people would probably tell you, they probably have some idea of. I mean, there's a handful of people that are very secure in what they do, I'm sure, and they've been very successful. But I think that the majority of people, even successful people, you can ask them. And they probably even have an idea for something new that they're not doing yet. You know what I mean? So yeah, I guess you have to look at it through life with rose-colored glasses in some ways, where it's like, and like failure is important, like you said, because then, I think it was Churchill that said that, failure, success, so you learn from your mistakes and, you keep moving forward.
And it feels so much better once you, after all those failures and you get that one success.
Oh, dude.
Like jackpot. It could be small, but it just feels fucking amazing.
The hyperfixation on a project and then you finally get it right. There's nothing better.
Yeah.
The dopamine high.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. Totally. I had one of those moments a couple weeks back. I had to do this tasting for something I'm doing in the fall, and I was like, I just nailed it. And I'm very normally critical of my work, but I walked away and I was like, dude, everything just fell into place. It felt so good. Yeah. You know what I mean?
How do I recreate this moment?
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah. And I was even bitching. I was like, a tasting. I don't want to do that. But at the end of it, it was super rewarding. So life will always give you stuff like that. It'll give you lemons. Do you make lemonade or you make limoncello?
Yeah, exactly. One of the best pieces of advice, and I'm sure it's been said many times, but I guess it was last fall, I applied for a grant through the Texas Women's Governor's Commission for entrepreneurs, and got to spend some time with some amazing women that are on the governor's board for entrepreneurship. And you're looking at these women going, damn, they've got it figured out. They've got all the answers. This one female, she's one of the largest construction company owners in steel construction, and started with her sister and talked about them trying to get started, and the opportunity would come for them to buy another property. And they're looking at each other going, how many more eggs can we eat? Basically because we're last, right? Everybody else gets paid first. But one of the things she told me, because at the end of the day, I just said, it's so refreshing being around not just females, but just entrepreneurs with the same struggles, and knowing that you're not alone, like you were talking about. And she said, there's always going to be waves. Waves are always going to come, but at some point you learn how to surf.
That's true.
And I thought that was true. I will never forget that, because it's true. I mean, as soon as you get over some kind of hump or battle or hardship, there's going to be something else. Just learn how to surf.
Right around the corner, typically. COVID was that way for a lot of people, man. The fallout, especially. I think that we're even living through some of that today. It's the market's so up and down, and people have had to pivot so many times in business, and I think that you'll see the strong ones survive. And I think Fredericksburg is a great place to build that strength.
Right.
It's a melting pot, I think, of a lot of people with different backgrounds, and maybe they're now doing something else that's maybe something creative that they've always wanted to do. They had an actual career. I say actual career, like we don't have one, but right.
Somewhat of a career,
a corporate job or something, and then now they're wanting to make cigars or open a yoga studio or whatever it may be. And it's just it's a really neat place to kind of throw out creativity and meet people, and
cool.
It's always something happening.
Yeah.
So Christina, what's next for Piccolina? I mean, maybe you can't, if you have your perfect dream of, where you could be in the next, let's say 3 years.
Interesting question. I've kind of been taking this business a day at a time, and it's like, oh, surprise, here comes this opportunity. Jump right on it and then figure it out later. But I think now we're to a point where I have to really look towards intentional growth and what I see, how I see this business being. And one of the favorite things I love hearing people say when they come in is, are there any more of these? Is this the only one? Can we find one of these here or there? And
downtown Manhattan.
Exactly.
Franchises.
So we're definitely looking towards that opportunity for growth outside of Fredericksburg, always keeping this home base, of course, but and how best that would look. And that's just something that I have to spend some time in the woods really figure out, because I do see a lot of businesses that grow too fast and get kind of not diluted, but overwhelmed with that growth or opportunities, and making sure it's the right fit and right places. And we were talking about College Station earlier, so of course I'm eyeing that area.
Be a great market for you.
Yeah, we did an event there one time with the truck, and it was a good plus. Given I'm an Aggie myself, so that's like going back to the motherland, right?
The Aggie network is strong.
It is
for sure.
It is, yeah. And they're now allowing food trucks within Caulfield, so we're starting to look that direction, looking kind of mainly towards the south, and we'll see.
Well, in Aggie Park now just kind of sprouted up over, from God, they did that in a year and a half, maybe. When they get a vision and an idea, that's one thing that's very special about that place too. And the people that run it is when they get the idea, they go all in on it, and they got the money to do it
exactly
too, which is cool.
You can catch bass in the Aggie Park.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's a great place. But not only there, but we've done some, and that's a thing too. I've kind of learned is saying yes to opportunities. I used to say yes to everything, and luckily over time have learned what's worth my time and what's not. especially just with trial and error. But everybody, you've got to have that. You have to have that trial and error in those hours and then leave going, that was a waste of time. But now you can actually really learn from that. But we recently did a road trip to Arkansas for a couple that has a show on HGTV, and it was an awesome event, long road trip, but a lot of fun, and may have some pretty interesting opportunities out of that.
Sweet.
So.
Did you drive the...
We took it on a trailer.
Wow.
I can't see her driving 55 miles an hour.
Right? Oh, yeah. I'd still be coming back from that. But, yeah, you know, and my best friend, she now lives here, and she hopped in, and we spent 4 days on the road.
That's
and
awesome.
Sometimes you just have to say yes to things that may not make sense monetarily, but I think the relationships and the exposure and the brand opportunities are definitely there.
Hell yeah.
It's a great opportunity.
So to answer your question, I don't know, but hey, I'm here for it. Along for the ride.
That's cool. Well, you're all in.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
You got to be. In any of these, you've got to love what you're doing. You got to be passionate about what you're doing. Otherwise, those late nights, those hours. The night before we left for Arkansas, Christy hadn't heard from me, and I'm packing up and stuff, and she shows up with a ranch water because that's like that's my thing. And I'm just sitting in the side garage, like with tears just coming down my face, like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
You know, and that's still going to happen.
Of course.
But the thing that gets you through that is, like what you said, is just the vision and the passion and really that just still seeing it.
And sometimes not knowing just makes it even more exciting.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen.
For sure.
Because these doors open for anything.
We're definitely not doing the same thing every day.
No, not at all. So after you work your ass off all day and you're back at the house like 9, 10 o'clock at night, what do you eat? I mean, what's something that...
Man. Yeah, it just
you don't
depends.
go out, you know.
Okay, well, I mean, like,
Whataburger.
obviously Whataburger used to be a thing, but, you know, we're trying to get a little more on the health trip. But I have chickens. I saw yours out back. Lots of eggs.
Yeah.
A lot of eggs.
Yeah. I've seen ours.
Yeah, when I walked in, I heard them. I was like, oh, hey, look at all these.
Yeah.
Protein.
Yeah.
Steaks. I'm a big ribeye girl.
Oh, nice.
Salmon.
Yes. But, I mean, what do you normally cook for yourself when you get off? I mean, do you want to still cook for yourself or...
Oh, HEB, like those little one meal things.
Oh, okay.
Just throw that shit in the oven. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good. And there's sometimes where I haven't eaten all day.
Yeah.
But most of the time, once you kind of get your system, your routine in,
You find something.
Yeah, you find something. But maybe not as much Whataburger as I used to.
Cool. Well, so every week we do a recipe of the week. And this week I thought it'd be fitting. The recipe is going to be a summery salad.
Awesome.
Summery salad. I thought something with lemons.
I love
obviously.
that.
Some sort of lemon vinaigrette.
I was about to say
or,
lemon vinaigrette.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe some preserved lemons of some sort.
So I'm going to do one. You're going to do one. And Christina, if you want to help, you want to do one, you can do one. And I know you're able to shoot your
How
own
about
images.
I just eat y'all?
Oh.
I would much
That's
prefer just to be the
fine.
taste
That's
tester.
Fine. I mean, I still got to ask because I don't want to make you feel left out. You know,
No,
Steve
maybe
might
I'll
do
just
it.
add dessert to that.
All right. That's
That'd be
dessert
cool.
towards a salad.
Because
Okay.
you know there was a trend of like you actually freeze the fruits and then you'd shave it.
Yeah.
So we commonly get confused with shaved ice, but this is pretty darn close.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time, Christina. It's been a great interview, and I look forward to watching the rest of your journey and enjoying your shaved Italian ice.
Well, thank you.
Love to have you back. I mean, there's other topics that we didn't touch.
Oh, for sure.
Oh my
for
gosh,
sure.
we could spend days.
Oh, we can get
days
back.
here.
We'll have you back on recipe development for
For sure. I would love to hear how you summon the muse for recipe development.
process, so forth.
Yeah. Anyways, well, thanks again, Chef.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me over. It's been another great interview, and I'm so thankful for you, and I appreciate it.
Awesome, brother. Yeah, it was a pleasure having you, Christina. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for having me. Nailed it.
For show. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.